Hi there, and welcome to an intriguing edition of the Springboard Hangout. The Springboard Hangout is in partnership with the Ghana Grows program. Ghana Grows is a program by the Springboard Roadshow Foundation in partnership with the MasterCard Foundation and Limehouse. The program simply seeks to show the opportunities that exist in the extended value chain in agric and ATVET. My name is Comfort Okran, and today you would enjoy what we will do here at the Springboard Hangout. I have a privilege. Sometimes you have the opportunity to walk or talk with people who can give you about 20 degrees after their name. And sometimes too, there are no degrees, but there's so much that you wonder that shouldn't the degrees be more? Today, I'm talking to a thinker, an analyst, as well as someone who just believes in going through the process systematically. Do help me welcome Timothy Owusu to the Springboard Hangout today.
Thank you so much.
Timothy, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Before we go into our conversation,
yes,
I want you to know to call someone to join us today because it's going to be very interesting. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Time to move on. He's all turned around.
Get me York's rent a car. I need a car in 15 minutes. Hi, I'm Jake Morris, and I travel globally. But when I'm in Ghana, York's Rent a Car is my reliable choice for safety and comfort on the road. York's Rent a Car provides comprehensive logistics services to mainly blue chip companies as well as individual clients.
At a time we needed a car rental service, and York's fitted in very well per our standards.
Their services is top notch. Drivers are on time.
It was beautiful to see them behind the wheels, and anytime they pick up a guest, the guests were very, very happy.
Already? Yes. Excellent. York's Rent a Car provides services and expertise that include meet and greet services at the airport, car rental, driver personal outsourcing, and vehicle detailing. What's the problem? It's you. I told you. York's Rent a Car delivers world-class service to its customers, having their highest safety and comfort in mind. So watch him. Go over to open for him. York's Rent a Car runs 24/7 operations where customers can make car reservations and inquiries of our services online and also call our hotline.
Time to move on. He's all turned around.
Welcome back to the Springboard Hangouts. The Hangouts, as you know, is your syndicated program. We're working together with Ghana Grows, which is a program from the Springboard Roadshow Foundation in partnership with MasterCard Foundation and Limehouse. Today, we're going to have a chat with Timothy. Timo
is fine.
It's
Tim
fine.
is okay. However you call me, Timothy is also fine. It really, it's all my name. And I would also want to say thank you for coming, and we appreciate you coming. We hope we both enjoy the program.
We will. I believe everyone,
yes,
those watching us, we having the chat,
yeah,
as well as even the catfish, would all enjoy being part of this meeting. I always like to contextualize who we're working with today. So if you don't mind, tell me a bit about who you are.
I'll start by saying that I grew up in Accra, and in the process, I had to go and stay in Kumasi for some time. Kumasi is where I learned a lot of my very interesting lessons, especially in Accra. When you're born in Accra and you are in four walls, you don't go anywhere. When you're going outside, it's only your parents who will take you outside. But my dad went to live in Kumasi, and he took us along. And in Kumasi, I had a very good experience being exposed to the real world. I didn't even know that they sell kinky outside until I was in Kumasi. I didn't know they sell food outside yes, because we eat at home. Everything is, you have your bowl, you have your plates. You don't know these things. You never get exposed to these things. Like, until I was in Kumasi. Kumasi was a place where I explored, I really had fun in Kumasi when I was in junior high. actually. And then to university. Then my mom passed, and then my dad passed, and life still goes on, and we are here now.
Which university did you happen to start with?
Yes. Well, I was in Kumasi for junior high. I went to Adisadel for secondary school, and then I was supposed to go to a university. You know, most of my family goes to a particular university. All the universities, we have some people there who are professors. My house, I come from a house of those type of people. A house where, you know, discipline is everything. It's like you're supposed to live in a certain way. We eat in a certain way. We eat at a certain time. We sleep at a certain time. That kind of stuff. But I personally did not understand why we should live like that. I was like, there is more to life than... So, I mean, I didn't know so many things. But Kumasi taught me a good lesson. University was an experience. Before I went to university, I had spent most of my time already learning. I loved reading. I think because when I was a kid, in my grandmother's house, before you can get cake paste, you know, those cake paste, we make cake, everything in the house, we don't buy cake from our house, we don't know those things. We know they make the cake at home.
And then there's the one that is bowl. Well, after you've taken all the cake out, and then that one
The
that
small
you
line.
use your
Yes,
fingers
your
to just
exactly.
pick up and put in your mouth, whether you are given permission or not.
Not.
Yeah.
But in my house, you have to be given permission, and the
Yes.
permission only comes if you're able to pronounce certain words. So when my aunties come from school, they will give you a book. Everybody would read. Where the big words are, they will call me. They will say, "Hey, come and
Explain this one.
explain this one to everybody else." So I was always learning for cake paste. In fact, that's how come that's how come I learned how to actually read. In my grandmother's house, let's take for example where the pond is at the back. It was just full of books. I spent most of my time in that library. And before I went to secondary school, and then before I went to uni. So I went to uni with a bunch of books. My roommate will tell you that he has never seen anybody who just came to school with just a bunch of books.
And to get more.
Yes. You know, but when I went to uni, it was a little complicated for me. Because for me, the environment was new, the people were different. Everything was different in uni for me. But I tried to figure out how to adjust myself, you know, whilst I was in school. I spent most of my time in the lab, in the computer science lab, because I really wouldn't be doing anything. I wouldn't be talking. I mean, there was a time that they pasted my name in front of the school for 1.5 years. I never noticed it.
Why?
It's like, you know, I'm that type of person that if I close my mind around my environment, it's only focus. The rest is just focusing on building solutions, whatever is happening. So in uni, okay, let me tell you something happened in uni. In uni, at a point when my parents were out, I couldn't pay my fees, so I had to come out of uni. And when I came out of uni and I went back to uni, I went back there to build a system for them. So they decided to help me pay my fees and all that stuff. So I got some form of scholarship, I mean, all the way throughout. But in uni, that's where I built my company. In uni is where I started interacting with people some more, because I wasn't too much of a people person.
Would you call yourself an introvert then?
Well, I would say I am both. First, I am completely an introvert and I am a completely extrovert as well, because I could handle both. I don't mind the crowd, and I don't mind if the crowd is not there. When the crowd is not there, I can
Just
go inside with myself. When the crowd is there, I'm able to bring myself out, to talk about myself. So uni was a fantastic experience, but at a point I realized, what am I doing here? Because the person who was actually training me, when I come to class, some of the things I knew, he had gone to do his masters and I'd come back and I'm asking him certain things and he wasn't able to answer. I'm like, you know what, see, what's the point? I just picked my bag one day and then I never looked back.
You headed out and you never
Outside,
entered.
and I never looked back again.
Fantastic. You talked about building systems, and that gave you an opportunity to even continue your schooling. Now, what I am interested in, based on what you did in the school, you felt that technically I can explore my own. So what did you build following that?
So in my school, I built their first registration system for students registration. In fact, I was the first person to do this online registration. IBM introduced a technology called Ajax. It's actually used today very often, but I was the first person in Ghana to actually use Ajax in one of the government projects in Ghana here. What brought about this ability to look into systems was need. Because at the time, both my parents had passed, so I needed to actually reinvent myself. Even though when my parents were there, I always dodged to go and do certain things. I always had friends who were doing probably selling water somewhere. I'll join them. I will come home very late. My mom will be upset. But I didn't understand why there were people who were going outside and I was always at home. There was this guy who used to come and polish our shoes on Sundays. And I asked my mom one day that, why is it that this guy's not going to church? Yes, I asked my mom. She didn't give me an answer.
How can she give you an answer?
Well, because she didn't give me an answer, I also made a shoebox. Went to hide it somewhere, you know, and then I realized, no, there's something more to life than just, you know, staying at home, learning. There is a whole world out there. But you need to expose yourself to that world. But that exposure can also create problems for you.
Okay.
Because you don't add caution to exposure. It can be fatal.
It can be fatal.
Very, very fatal.
So we decide that we are going to expose ourselves.
Yes.
And we realize the need to also be cautious.
Exactly.
So how did we expose ourselves in the space of work?
In the space of work.
After we left uni.
After I left uni. So when I walked out of uni, you know, I picked my bag and I said, listen, I don't even know what I'm doing here. Let me just go out there and see what is happening out there. In fact, it was one of the most painful journeys I ever took. Initially, you won't feel it because, you know, when you're walking out, it's like, oh, I've decided to walk out of the uni. And on top, I was living in my grandmother's house, so I mean, I wouldn't be bothered. Then I built a system in school, but before I left school, I had been building systems for other companies, small. So then I have some form of revenue coming in. That's the thing. Now, sometimes people go out there and not calculate this type of stuff. You can't just put yourself out there just like that. No, you need to be a little bit, you need to calculate everything. You need a calculable risk. A risk has to be something that you have taken your time to think through it and still take it. But you should have some form of fallback. And that fallback should be with yourself, not with people. You see, normally we get disappointed because our fallback is on people. My fallback wasn't on a person or anything, it was on myself. Plus, I was living in my grandmother's house, so I have the liberty to, you know, go, I have food to eat. You know, those are luxuries you have. I think, you know, a lot of people will have that kind of luxury. And even when people have it, they will take it for granted. But when I left my grandmother's house the first time, oh my God, I was excited, everything was happening, everything was nice, and we won one of these big projects with one of these companies. And then I got broke again. So I came back to my grandmother's house.
Why did you go broke?
Well, you go broke because you're not disciplined.
Not disciplined.
Completely, because in order for you to stay afloat, you need to first understand yourself, understand your need. This is what I need. Everything else can go into my business. I wasn't living that way. Oh, that's when I met friends. At that point, that's the time that, you know, you're making some money.
Person.
Yes, you meet some friends, and then you're always out there. I used to work only 3 times in a day. Like, I work Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm down there all the way. Oh my God. So I go broke, I come to my grandmother's house. I sit down quietly and I ask myself a question. Why am I here? In my grandmother's house. Even at that time, I was still bringing interns to come and work with me in my grandmother's house because I still had the opportunity. I set up companies. My brother actually worked me to set up a company for me. So I set up my first company then, and that's what I was using to do all the things I was doing. You go broke. And then I came back, I sat down, I thought about it. I'm like, why am I in this state again? So I needed to, something has to change. I wasn't too sure what had to change. I wasn't very sure. But I knew that something had to change. But eventually I got to realize that in order for you to grow, you, the individual, would have to change. Because it's just you. So one day I'm leaving my grandmother's house again. She says, are you sure you're not coming back? I said, I'm not coming back.
You've learned the
And
lessons.
since then, I never returned. So with the caution that we want to add to the growth that we are looking for, we have to still take the risk. However, we need to learn to understand that we need to have some form of resilience. Because no matter what you will do, you will go up and you will come down. It's like seasons. There's a tree just in the school. That whole tree can be very green, and sometimes it can be very, very brown. There's no single leaf.
Sense of life in
Exactly. But it's seasons. What do you think happens to the tree when the leaves are not there? It's the roots that takes charge. The roots now find water in the ground. They say that if you want your hands to reach the heavens, your feet must touch the deepest recesses of hell. Therefore, in order for you to see light, you have to go through some form of darkness. And it's very important that in the darkness, you pay attention. You see, a lot of people fall because in the darkness, they still get distracted. At the point where you find yourself in darkness, in fact, that's when you need to figure out how to focus. Because it's a difficult road. It's not a road that is, that's why it's not everybody who is treading that road. No, it's not. It's a very, very difficult road. So if you, the individual, you don't take charge of the road yourself, then you cannot construct it. Because you are the constructor of the road that you are creating.
Constructor of a road, understand why you want to create that
The road, yes.
and exactly where that road should
Lead you to. One of the things I also realized, along the path is that sometimes we don't necessarily need a particular destination. What we need is what we intend to do to help. Because when you try to help people, they will never notice it.
Say it again.
When you try to help people, they will not notice it. The help you are bringing, they will not notice it. Sometimes we think that people need help. They are hungry, they don't need help. That's not the help you think. The help you think they need, that's not the help they need. No. In fact, that's why lots of programs don't work. Lots of programs don't work because we assume that the help we are bringing will put people in charge. No. We need people who have decided that they want to help themselves. That's step one. And then we bring them up on a certain level. There are people who immediately you give them money. If it's money you are looking for, immediately you give them money, they are done. If I use money I'm looking for, then why am I supposed to be working? No. But the love for what you do is the key.
So we are on the Ghana Grows program.
Yeah.
As I said in the beginning, the Ghana Grows program seeks to show people or to bring to the fore the opportunities that exist in the extended agric and ATVET value chain.
Yeah.
I mean, we've started this journey with you.
Yeah.
We didn't really go to why we are here because I wanted people to understand the person before we bring into for where we are traveling on this journey.
Okay.
One of the interesting things that you just said right now is the fact that you can't really help people. People have to decide for themselves that they want to go travel a particular journey and then they go on that journey with you, hopefully.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at the extended value chain in this context, how do we bring or how do we enable people to first see the opportunity and then hopefully make a decision to explore that space?
I think the first challenge is need. Yes. Need. They say need is the mother of all inventions. Because if the need is there, then people will decide to invent. But I think the biggest problem we have in our society is we limit ourselves. And we limit ourselves because we are not knowledgeable. We should never forget that. And we are not knowledgeable because we are probably not seeking the right knowledge that will take us in the right direction. So for example, I dropped out of school, but I was still, I've never stopped reading. There's not even a single day I won't pick a book and read. I'm reading all kinds of stuff.
You actually have a book on your lap as you're doing this interview.
I'll talk about this. It's called the Master Key System, something briefly. But what I'm trying to say is that we need knowledgeable people who have taken their time to acquire knowledge. Now, not just theoretical knowledge, but knowledge that is practical. Now, practical in the sense that if you take anybody who has a problem, all right, for example, let's take, for example, a plumber. A plumber who is always complaining about the fact that they don't have money. It's probably because they don't understand exactly the skill they have. But if they do understand the skill they have, then the first thing they would have to look for is find a way to have 10 clients every week. Just 10. Don't do more. Find 10 clients. When you have 10 clients and assume that you make 50 CDs from each of these 10 clients a week, that gives you 500 CDs every week. It means that every month, how much do you make? Very simple mathematics. But the issue is, nobody writes down these things. It's your ability to write down what you're making that will give you a clue as to what you can do moving forward. Without you tallying what you are doing on a regular basis, this is what is coming. Even if you're spending away, write it down. The act of writing alone rewires the mind in a certain way. I spend most of the time at the beach, Labani Beach, and I've been teaching them how to create businesses. And I have a bunch of friends there. I sit at the beach between 10 o'clock and let's say 2 p.m. Most days, sometimes 3 times a week, sometimes twice a week. But when I get there, I look at the environment and I'm like, listen, so there's an egg seller. I asked her, how many eggs do you have in there? She said she has 20. Some say they have 50. I'm like, wow, how much are you selling? It says 4 cedis. If you sit at Labadi Beach and you sell eggs, 20, only 20, for 7 days a week, you don't sell more. 7 days a week, you make 2,240 cedis. So when I sat down with them, they were surprised. I'm like, yes, because you're not writing what you're doing. Writing itself gives you an ability to understand your own capacity as a person. So if you don't build that capacity, then definitely you will not have the ability to, to grow. And that is where most of the challenges when it comes to your growth process.
We will be going on a quick break. When we return, I will now bring Timothy into the agribusiness space.
Yeah.
Because we have the catfish, we have some processes,
Yes.
and we have some selling to do.
Exactly.
And if we can do this well by the end of the program,
Yeah.
this would have been the most informative
Yeah.
edition of the Springboard Hangout. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Tim.
Time to move on.
Get me York's rent a car. I need a car in 15 minutes. Hi, I'm Jake Morris, and I travel globally. But when I'm in Ghana, York's Rent a Car is my reliable choice for safety and comfort on the road. York's Rent a Car provides comprehensive logistics services to mainly blue chip companies as well as individual clients.
At a time, we needed a car rental service, and York's fitted in very well per our standards.
Their services is top notch. Drivers are on time.
It was beautiful to see them behind the wheels. And anytime they pick up a guest, the guests were very, very happy.
Already? Excellent. York's Rent a Car provides services and expertise that include meet and greet services at the airport, car rental, driver personal outsourcing, and vehicle detailing. What's the problem? It's you. I told you. York's Rent a Car delivers world-class service to its customers, having their highest safety and comfort in mind. So watch him. Two of us are open for him. York's Rent a Car runs 24/7 operations where customers can make car reservations and inquiries of our services online and also call our hotline.
Hey, time to move on. He's gonna turn around.
Welcome back to the Springboard Hangout. We're hanging out with Tim. Tim is giving us theoretical underpinnings for our discussion today. And Tim has 2 tech companies. What do you do in those 2 tech companies? And why 2? Why not just use the same one and create branches from it?
Well, I was fortunate. Fortunate in the sense that when you do a good job, you get recommended. I rather prefer recommendation based on what I've done than I have to struggle with a client to tell them what I am. So normally, when a client calls me, I'll ask them, who gave you my number? Because who you work for is more important than what you do.
Who you work for is more important than what you do.
Exactly. I stumbled into a very large customer.
Okay. I like that person.
Yes, a very large customer. And they liked exactly what I was doing. And they brought me all the other customers I had. But for one of my companies, I would say we have only about 6 customers. For the other one, which is in ed technology, we have close to 100.
Close to 100
Yes.
clients.
Yes.
Here in GH or
Ghana,
across?
Ghana and across the West African region, Nigeria as well, and Ivory Coast.
So you see why I'm talking to Tim, because he is very unassuming but has very interesting insights to do. So one of the things I found out was the fact that you work with food distribution companies.
Yes.
And so that's what made me interested in you and how you can help us in this space. Why? Because with every value chain, there are beginnings. You have the ways to add value, and then you have the way to market it. And you are giving technology to those who market food or food items. How do you support that space? How has your technological background helped you support that space?
You know, supply chain is expensive. And it's expensive because it comes with cost. So for example, if you have to move goods from the farm to the market, it's going to cost you time, it's going to cost you fuel. Your car might break down somewhere, it has to be fixed. The driver will not come on time. So all these things play a key role as far as supply chain is concerned. A good understanding of your supply chain will require that you have enough data to understand it. Your ups, your downs. That's what these large companies they do. What they have is that they have a clear understanding of exactly what can happen as far as their supply chain is concerned. So if they go down, they know exactly what to do. If they go up, they know exactly what to do. But that understanding will come from knowledge. But that knowledge comes from data they have collected
over the years.
Because you don't become perfect at anything until you do it for a while. Now, as you do it, you get to understand, okay, I cannot deal with this customer. I can deal with this person. And the more you collect data, the more it's easier for you to pivot. You can start as, let's say, for example, a tomato farmer. But you can eventually be somebody who just buys the tomatoes and sell it to people, because now you have come to understand, okay, I have a market for tomatoes. I don't need to go into the production anymore. I could be the person who is just buying the tomato and then sending it out there. You understand? So that's why I was emphasizing the fact that you need knowledge. Yeah. Because knowledge is the primary thing. And knowledge comes from daily activities, you know, tallying your daily activities on a regular basis. You don't skip those things. Sometimes, here we play so much with the data. It's like people don't pay attention to their data. I'll give you a typical example. People who have shops, they don't pay attention to them. If you want to be able to scale whatever you are doing, you need enough data, because you know that this works here. I can pick it and move it here, and it's going to scale. That's pretty much what it is. in order for you to scale well, then you have to have enough knowledge for you to build that scaling.
So we're talking about data.
Yes.
We're talking about knowledge. We're talking about the opportunity to turn that data that you have acquired, the data that you have picked up over the years, and using it to support your decision-making processes.
Exactly.
That is where
The gap is. The major gap is.
So how do you, as a tech person, bridge that gap?
For the tech person, it will be easy. Let's switch to somebody who is not a tech person.
Okay.
So I have a friend who grows tomatoes. One day he brought me 3 baskets of tomatoes. Wow, what will I be doing with this? I had no idea. And then I just went on the internet. I'm saying, let me try and figure out how to make tomato paste.
Okay.
My gas got finished. Then I realized it requires a lot of energy.
Okay.
So it's a process, like I'm saying. So one day I called him and I said, listen, why don't we think of how to process this stuff into something very smaller? You know, your tomato you brought, it's a lot of tomato. The guy brought me some, it's a lot. So I'm like, you know what? Why don't we take these tomatoes on the farm, use the firewood on the farm, and figure out how to process the tomatoes right there and then, and figure out how to, you know, keep it inside some refrigeration, shelving it. We will make some mistakes along the line as we're getting on. Some of them will spoil. We would start understanding what we need. Why are these people's own working? Why are ours not working? Now this boils down to the same point that I came on, the data and then the knowledge. Because if he hadn't brought the tomatoes, for example, now I have all this.
No need.
Exactly. Now I'm like, okay, let me blend the whole thing. So I blend everything. I spent 2 days.
Yes, indeed, you will.
Oh my God, 2 days. I'm blending, I am boiling, I'm removing all the water. It's an amazing work, you know. Then you understand, okay, it's very possible for anybody to do this.
So did he take you up on that suggestion?
Well, I haven't met him in a while.
Oh. So we don't know whether he started processing his
his tomato or not.
Or not.
Exactly.
So it's based on your need.
Yes.
Or in this case, I'm saying your pressing need.
Exactly.
To understand.
Yeah.
That's why we are sitting by a catfish pond.
Exactly.
Tell us why.
Well, one day I have plans of starting a farm.
Yeah, plans of
starting a farm.
Okay.
When I was a child, I used to have a rabbit farm. My dad had a very big land. So, I mean, I practiced so many things. Like, we used to grow pepper, we used to grow tomatoes. And then the first time I saw rabbits, I was intrigued. I was in junior high school. I was like, what?
Like you fell in love.
Oh my God, these animals are beautiful. So I had a rabbit farm. I had about 50, 60 of them before I went to secondary. Oh yes, I did. Oh, I did that as well. I would go around looking for food for them. I would get wheat bran. I'll try to make the food. When I was a kid, I was very adventurous because I was very stubborn. No two ways. Yeah, I can assure you. I am not the ordinary stubborn. I am extremely stubborn. But in the stubbornness, there is this knowledge.
It's determined.
You understand? I wanted to understand how things work.
Yeah.
And I wanted to understand how we can use the things that we understand to improve how we are. You understand? So my mind has always been in the mentality of how do we improve? And generally, once you as an individual improves, everything around you will improve. The people around you will also improve as well. And that has been the focal point of most of my growth pattern. That brings me to the catfish. So I'm sitting here one day. In fact, what really happened was that my brother brought his kids here, you know, because I was here by myself. So I was like, no problem, because he was traveling. And I said, no issues. But when they came, because I didn't want to disturb them, I moved my party from there to my backyard. I'm sitting, I'm like, why don't I just start this farming? Because it's after COVID, 2020. In fact, my dread, I did this in COVID because I didn't have dread before. Yes, in COVID, I was always inside and I was trying to help my schools, you know, go through the COVID process with e-learning and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it was a tough time for everybody else.
Yeah.
But after the COVID, I was sitting down and I'm like, you know, why don't I start this fish farm and I'm just here. So I went to there. I have a plumbing guy out there. He's the one who taught me the different part, the different tools I need. I go there, I ask him questions, and he tells me, oh, this one, I say, I want this. I don't know what it is, so I say, this is what I want. I probably show him a picture. He say, oh, this one is called so and so and so. Then I would buy it. I'll come, I'll cut, I'll join, I'll make mistakes, I correct it, I go back again, I make mistakes, I correct it. But all these things come from cost. Nobody should forget that. Learning is not cheap at all, not in any way. Whether you do it by school or you do it by yourself, it's not a cheap exercise. However, if you as an individual take the money that you make and invest it into yourself by learning, I am sure it will be the most profitable business you would have put yourself through. And in fact, that is why you can see the fish pond here like this. We built everything. I built everything with my welder. I sent this to Carnation, just the back here. My welder built this one. I bought these glasses from a company in the industrial area here. Brought everything, got the glue, sat here, did it. I got it wrong. The thing was leaking. Removed everything again, scraped everything out, did it again. So it's a learning process that a person will have to take themselves through. Now, the more you go through the process, the more you realize, oh, it can be done. Oh, it can be done. That's the oh moment. Oh, it can be done. And once you realize it can be done, the rest is the party and the laughter and the happiness.
The party, the laughter, and the happiness.
Yeah.
So we have, but this is not all that you have.
Exactly. Yeah.
How I know you have about 2,500.
Yeah, 2,500
fishes.
Yes.
But guys, he doesn't sell it. So what are you using it for?
So when I made the fish pond, alright, and initially I had trouble with the fish because I didn't understand them. They got sick and I didn't understand how they are. I didn't understand that when they get sick, the texture of their skin changes. The texture of their skin color will change. When they get sick, they will start getting lighter and lighter and lighter. So you realize that the radiance of their skin is different when they are not well. But you wouldn't know this in the beginning. So this is where learning comes in. So you start studying. I start studying them, writing, making notes on every step of the way. That's how I figured exactly how each one of these fishes became. Or when they are sick, I know that okay, this is what it is. When you notice that there's one of them that has a small sore. You'll see that this particular one.
The black one?
No, this one.
The one a bit beside it. Yeah.
It's a female though. This one of the beautiful females. This one there.
Okay.
It has a small red spot. You notice that there's a red spot under its throat.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a type of bacteria. Okay, now that type of bacteria eats their flesh. However, so when it calcifies, yes, they have all kinds of. That bacteria is very, very dangerous. Like immediately it gets into the pond. Gets into the pond, your fishes will start dying. But then I needed to understand exactly how to deal with it because I brought fishes from somewhere else. In fact, that's what caused this. When you move your tools from one pond to another pond to another pond to another pond, what you might be doing is that you are transferring diseases from one pond to another. So those are steps I have to take. I'm like, okay, so my guy who helps me here, I told him, listen, we don't have to do this. We have to do it this way or follow a certain kind of route. But you still have to learn. It's a process you cannot do without learning.
So we're learning that as a person, learning should be part of you daily, weekly.
Yes.
And that learning can be in different fields.
Yes.
But ideally, what the particular field that you are in, kindly find out more about it.
Yeah.
And Timothy is now in the process of learning about catfish.
Yes.
But you are not in the catfish business.
Yes.
So why are you learning about catfish?
Well, I think when you have a solutions mentality, everything that you touch, you realize that you can solve a problem somehow.
Okay.
So there is food problem everywhere. However, we can't save a lot of people with the fish we have. It's only 2,500. It's not a lot. We can keep the cycle on and on and on. However, it's still not a lot. The real goal is to actually do this on a very large scale, like in an industrialized form. But to do that, you need to start from a certain point. And this is the beginning. there will be the next step where you come and see a bigger factory where you see plenty fishes, 1 million, 2 million, that kind of stuff. And we are shipping them out there to the entire West Africa. And that's the goal, you understand? That's actually where the direction is going. And in as much as we want to be able to grow, we still have to start from somewhere.
I intentionally drew this out of you because I wanted to show to our listeners and audience that sometimes you may have an end goal, but you don't necessarily have to start from the end goal.
No.
You may need to do some learning.
Yes.
And that learning will be free for the time being, because right now I understand that if I come here on Friday, which is today actually.
Yes, today
in the evening. We will hang out not just with words, we would hang out with catfish.
Yes.
Fresh catfish that we pointed in the pool and said, this is the particular one that I want.
Yes. No, not this pool, not this pool. Not this pool, but in the general pool.
We go there and say, okay, we want this.
Want a size like this, and then we can give you that size. Yes.
And that is what we would have.
Yeah.
So basically, you are using this time to prepare yourself.
Exactly.
It may seem free, it may seem frivolous.
Exactly.
But there's an end game.
Exactly. There is always an end game.
There's an end game.
Always.
And that is something that we must all keep in our minds. We must start thinking about it and say, where are we going?
Exactly.
What do we want to achieve?
Yeah.
What is the process? What is the path? What is the road?
Road towards it. Yeah.
What's the road towards it?
Yeah.
And then be willing.
Yeah, that's the word. Be willing. Be willing.
Be willing
to go through it.
To take our time.
Yes.
Go through it step by step. Sometimes fall down.
Yes.
In fact, if you say it better, and then I'm just sure you say it for me, please.
Well, I mean, you would have to take the road, and I'll tell you what, the road is not clear. The road is not there. But when you take the step, the road makes up. It comes up because you have taken the step. It's like this. When you sit wherever you are sitting, for example, like you rightly said, you need to have the goal in mind, the actual goal in mind. So you go into the future and picture yourself, but come back into your present and ask yourself, who am I? Where am I? What can I do now? Those are questions you need to ask yourself. Now, once you ask yourself, then you start taking the steps. Every step you will take forward, whatever you need is in that step. It's not where you are sitting. Because if you sit, you won't get the results. As you take your steps forward, for some reason, the universe finds a way to bring you all the people you need in order to get the results you're looking for. And that is why need is very important.
Need is the starting block.
Exactly. Need is very, very important. Because the more you demand from the universe, the more you will get. It's like demand and supply. If you shrink yourself into a small state, okay, I like where I am, I like what I'm doing, then definitely you're not going to grow. But if you tell yourself that I'm going to demand of myself a lot of discipline, I'm going to demand of myself to ensure that people improve, I'm going to demand of myself, it means that you as an individual has to demand a lot from yourself before you can even go out there and demand from anybody else. It cannot happen like you go out there and demand from anybody without you demanding from yourself. The demand starts with you. Now, once you start demanding it from yourself, you'll notice that you'll be led to be taking certain steps. Now, those steps will take you to certain places and you'll meet certain people and you'll be surprised. How is all this thing coming together? It is because you decided to take the step by step. In my office, there's something they call apoko is the way.
Definitely apoko is the way.
Apoko. When I go there one day, they said, the new motto in our office is apoko is the way. I'm like, oh, fantastic.
Yeah, because when you're building the code doesn't, it's not
exactly.
You have to do one small code after the at the time. Wow. This has been very, very engaging. Now, I'm curious. I mean, I've never interviewed somebody who's come with a book before, unless they wrote the book. So definitely, he didn't write this book because I can see somebody else's name on it. So tell us, why did you bring this book and what do you have to share from it to us?
Well, this book is called The Master Key System. It was written by Charles F. Hanel. It's a very interesting book. I have 2 books I might recommend for people to read. The first one will be this one. The second one would be The Miseducation of a Negro. The reason I recommend this book is how we think. If you want anything in this world, you will get it. But it is how you think about it. Normally, you see, our society is built around fear. Fear is the most dangerous of all things, of all emotions. It's something you have to live without. If you are out of fear, it means you can achieve anything. But immediately you are afraid, what happens is that you create for yourself an ability not to move. Because you're afraid, oh, I don't think it will work. You understand? I'm not sure. No. Who cares about sure and not sure? Move. If you fail, it's okay. You learn a few things. It even gives you enough courage to even take further steps because you have failed. If you take somebody like Elon Musk, he does these things and they give him the opportunity to do these things because the failure, those are the steps towards where you're going. Without failing, there is no way you go anywhere. You cannot go anywhere without failing. But our system has trained us. In fact, it's a global thing. It's not just our own system. The world is training us not to take steps because they think we will fail. No. First, I tell my people, we are failing. That's what we have to do. We need to consistently fail. So the more we fail, the faster we fail, the better our chances. So we fail faster here. In our office, we are the fastest at failing so that we can be quick at providing the solution. Because we do not know. We don't assume that, no, you will never know until you have put yourself in there. So the first step I always tell people is take away the fear. And one of the things this book does for you is that it gives you a clear understanding of the fact that how you think affects the output that you have in the world. It's that simple. So somebody might think that, oh, this person is like that person. No. They haven't told you the pain they've gone through. If they told you the pain they've gone through, before I was just here by myself. I was very, very sick and I was the only person in my company. And I was very broke too as well. On the floor in my hall. I have to visit a client. I'm so unwell, but the way I am with my clients, my earlier clients, I'm very cool with them. I had to drive. When I got there, I told him the way I'm feeling, I cannot sit. So I had to lie on the floor and then work from there before he took me to the hospital. You know, if you don't tell people some of these things, they think that, oh, some people are like, no, even when you are dying, you need to drag yourself out there. They don't know.
It's some of those experiences, some of those pain points that sometimes you keep inward and gives some people the erroneous impression that life is a bunch of roses.
Yeah, simple for you. Oh, as for you are lucky. No. You have no idea. I always tell people, I was in Lagos. I'll tell you a small story. I was in Lagos. When I went to Lagos with the intention of getting a client before I leave. Now, I live in Lekki. I had to walk from like Tema to Accra just to meet my clients, to collect my money. Because as at that time, I had exhausted all my options, all my money. It's intentional. I intentionally put myself in that kind of situation. I do that because, for me personally, I don't think anything is permanent. Therefore, I really don't have to put anything in my mind and think that there is a permanent state for anything. No, everything evolves. But everything will evolve according to you as an individual, your capacity to handle the weight of the troubles that are coming. So if you want small trouble, oh yes, you get small trouble. But if you want big trouble, take big trouble.
When you get big trouble, what happens?
When you get big trouble, what happens is that it will take you to the ground.
Then
you will germinate again.
Thank you very much. Big trouble takes you to the ground. In fact, the deepest part of the ground. But when you grow, because you've gone so deep, when you come up, it's so wonderful.
Become refined.
So ask for deep trouble and you will grow so deeply.
Exactly.
Today is all about growth. Today is all about Ghana growth. It's all about how an individual, you can take yourself as a process, as something that you need to grow or move to a bigger space. And attempt to take those deliberate steps that will enable you grow. Ghana Grows is about growth.
Growth, of
Isn't it?
course, yeah. Growth.
So you are watching us today. What growth process have you decided? Because it starts with a decision.
Exactly.
And that decision depends on a need.
Yes.
So what need have you identified?
Mm-hmm.
What decision have you made?
Yes.
And how much are you willing to grow?
Mm-hmm.
And how much resistance are you willing to put in?
Yeah.
Because without the resistance, without the obstacles,
Yeah.
without those things, you'll just be going for a walk.
Oh yeah.
And you will not be building capacity to influence your world.
I agree. I agree with you. Perfectly said.
So if we say we are summarizing everything that we've said today, what
What I say? Well, what I would say is Ghana grows means Ghana grows. It simply means that we will all grow. And we have to learn to grow. It's not something that just happens. It's a process that we would have to take ourselves through. Even for Ghana Grow itself, it has to learn to grow. Because during the processes, they will see some of the things they have to do, some of the things, some of their failures here and there. You've experienced all these things. And these things, they shape you. You don't have to be perturbed about some of these disturbances. They are there to distract you. Always notice that anything that comes your way that looks like it's trying to bring your spirit down is only trying to disturb you. It's okay. Just don't focus on it. Because the more you focus on it, the more you give it energy. It's that simple. The more you pay attention to the things that you don't want to pay attention to, the more you give the things you don't want to pay attention to energy. So rather, take that energy and put it inside Ghana Grows, and then we'll all grow. It's that simple.
take our energy, put it in Ghana Grows, and we all shall grow. Before we leave, I think the fishes have been silent. We want to feed them, so that they'll say hello to us, right? Promise? Because you're so cool.
They are full, that's why. They are very full. Normally, they sleep a lot more. They sleep more than us.
I see. So we will see the fishes being fed very soon. How do you feel when you feed them?
Mine is not a feeling. It's more of a responsibility. There's a difference. Feelings, they come and go. But responsibilities, that is more static. It's like you have to do it. It's like I have to pay people. It's not a feeling. I have to make sure that everybody is paid and everybody is well. That's how it is. So there should be a point where you should be able to distinguish between what a feeling is and act on that feeling and what your responsibility is. And you make sure that you deal with your responsibilities. Then you come to your feelings. When it comes to the feelings for them, anytime I come and sit here, then I'm happy.
Oh, this long answer for a short question. Answer. How do you feel? You feel good when you are with them.
I feel extremely good.
Exactly,
I get you.
exactly.
No, that's the final answer. I understand.
So
Yes.
on that note of feeling good, we bring this episode very almost esoteric discussions about life, about possibilities, about growth.
Yeah.
But sometimes we need these discussions to draw our minds to what exactly we are going through or what exactly we want to see. Therefore, you are there. Maybe as at now, you hadn't made a decision to start doing something for yourself. We've talked about how you have to have a need. So I'm asking you today, what need have you identified in your environment, in where you live, in maybe a friend's house? what do you think you can bring to solving that problem or that need that we have there? What learning, what knowledge do you have to bring to bear? If you don't have that knowledge, where can you engage that knowledge and bring to bear to bring a solution that will thrive in our environment? Therefore, together, let's see how we can grow individually, in our organizations, in our society, and most importantly, in our nation, Ghana. Make sure that on Sunday at 7 p.m. you watch Reverend Okran and his friends on the Springboard Virtual University. This program will be repeated on ETV on Sunday at 5 p.m. So until we come your way again, you are blessed, you are loved, you are the brightest thing that came here on earth. Good night and God bless.